can be made, because until now I haven't seen any concrete texts yet. Because I haven't read any concrete texts yet, but I have been explained, of course, what a new proposal can look like. And the new proposal is that we are going to do something that has never been done before. We're gonna not confiscate, because we cannot use the word confiscate, but if it looks like confiscation, smells like confiscation, and it talks like confiscation, maybe you could call it a sort of confiscation. You're gonna take the money, but it's now at the ECB. So Euroclear has all kinds of assets that have turned into cash. The cash is deposited at the ECB. You have windfall profits that are used to pay the G7 loan, and then you have tax money in Belgium on these windfall profits that is used for the bilateral aid to Ukraine. That's the chicken and the golden eggs. The eggs are given to Ukraine. The chicken is sitting at the ECB, but it is the chicken of Euroclear which represents the claim that Russia has on its sovereign assets. If you take the chicken and you start eating it by giving loans to Ukraine, saying you can start and eat the chicken, then you're in a different situation. Legally, you're in a totally different situation. Can this be legal? This is a very good question. It's a very good question. There are no clear answers. If you ask lawyers, they usually present you also with a big bill. You have to pay them an enormous amount of money, and then they give you a text that you don't understand. And then you get a second opinion of another lawyer that you even have to pay more and that you don't understand as well. And is it possible? Is it not possible? There's no clarity on that. In Japan, they have decided not possible. Central bank money is immune. We're not going to touch it. There's a certain logic to this. Even during the Second World War, this did not happen. Immobilized money is immune. It's like an embassy. You don't touch it. You don't use it. So it's a first. We're in uncharted waters. Is it legal? Is it not legal? That's the very first question. What is the legal basis to do this? It is unclear. It's a matter that needs to be solved. Before we can go forward on this, I think everybody would sleep better if we would know that the legality of it is underpinned. We will, in any case, be buried in litigation. That seems like a certainty. I don't think that Russia will take this in a nice way. I heard a Belgian journalist on television say, "Oh, I have the impression that for Putin this money is already written off." I do not have that impression. This is not exactly what we hear from Moscow. Moscow has told us that if we touch the money, we would feel the consequences until eternity, which seems to be a long time, eternity. So they will do countermeasures. That seems to be very logical. That can take the form of counter-confiscations of Western money frozen in banks in Russia, confiscation of Western-owned companies, European companies, Russian courts making decisions on confiscations, and maybe making these decisions also valid in other jurisdictions that are friendly to Russia. Russia also has allies. And if Russian courts start saying we're going to seize European assets, can take all kinds of forms of assets. They could turn against the clients of Euroclear, which is the entire world, against the shareholders of Euroclear, companies of European origin, you name it. And they could imagine countermeasures against it in Russia and maybe also in allied countries. So it's risky business. I think an analysis on what the consequences could be would be helpful before you take a decision, that everybody who is on board, if all the member states are on board with this decision, that they need to know what they are risking. But of course, besides the counter-confiscations and the countermeasures, we will be buried in litigation. There is already a lot of litigation running. Because, of course, we have a treaty with Russia. It is the Belgo-Luxembourgian investment treaty. And that foresees arbitrage and proceedings. And already on the frozen assets, we are under arbitrage. There's one of the oligarchs, Mr. Freriedman, who is claiming countries with frozen assets like Luxembourg. He has 8 billion there, frozen, not immobilized. And he's claiming them for 16 billion. That's not very nice. That's like the sword of Damocles hanging over your head, claims of not only the money, but also damages. So it could double the amount. If you take 180 billion, you could get for 360 billion of claims. And then you have to add all the frozen assets to that who are already in litigation. That's enormous. That's enormous. So a legal basis is not a luxury, it's not a detail. Having a bit of legal certainty might help you and convince you that you will not start losing all that litigation and all these proceedings, because this could become very, very, very costly. So that's the first issue.